In this video, we are going to be talking about the most important rescue ace combos that you guys need to know heading into the new Age of Overlord format. Alright guys, so now we are going to be getting into the video. Now before we start it, of course guys, leave a like. Let's try and get 3 likes on the video. We do a great job. And then finally, subscribe if you have not already, because we're really close to 10,000 subscribers. And of course, check out all the links down below guys. Without further ado, we are going to be starting off the video. Now if you guys aren't familiar with my combo videos, what I essentially like to do is I like to show off the bread and butter combos first, and then the fancier schmancier combos later on. But anyways guys, enough waffling. We're going to be starting off with the combo. So this is just going to be Airlifter by himself. Now these combos are for experienced players and players who just aren't experienced and want to pick up this deck. It also transfers into Master Duel as well once they get all the cards. But starting off, we will go ahead and use Airlifter. So now this is just a quote-unquote one-card combo. So we'll normal summon Airlifter. Airlifter will go ahead and use his effect. When he's normal special summon, add 1 rescue ace spell card. This will get emergency. Now emergency basically allows you to summon a rescue ace monster from your deck onto the field, but then you have to tribute another one. So we're going to go ahead and fire off emergency. Emergency will go ahead and summon out our hydrant, but then we have to tribute a monster, so we will tribute the Airlifter already on board. This will summon out our hydrant, and then hydrant's effect is you can add 1 rescue ace monster from your deck to your hand. So basically you can get turbulence, and then from here, because we have 2 rescue ace cards in the graveyard, being emergency and Airlifter, we can go ahead and banish them out and summon out our turbulence. Now turbulence has a pretty unique effect in my opinion, where you can set up to 4 rescue ace quick play spells with different names directly from your deck. So he really bypasses like a lot of like the draw and lock birds, things of that nature. He is a big choke point in the deck for sure. But yeah, so we go ahead and we set our 4 cards, which is going to be our extinguish, our contain, our alert, and our rescue. I'm not gonna go too in depth with what they do until I activate the cards, specifically because I have a deck profile coming out as well about this deck, so I'll explain it a little better there. But from here we can go ahead, because rescue ace hydrant has the effect where it says once per turn you can activate a quick play spell or trap card that was set by the effect of your rescue ace card the turn this card was set. Your main phase, add 1, blah blah whatever, right? So the reason why we can activate the set quick play spell is because hydrant enables us to do it. It's his blanket effect, so we can go ahead and use alert. Alert basically says add 1 rescue ace monster from a grave to your hand, or if you control rescue ace hydrant, you can add 1 rescue ace monster from your deck to your hand instead. So you guys will see that a lot of the rescue ace cards will have like the baseline, and then they'll have the additional effect as well if you have Hydra. Now I made a rescue ace video a long time ago, but yeah, anyways, so alert will go ahead and trigger. This will let us add a card, so we end up adding preventer. Now preventer says you can banish 1 rescue ace card from your graveyard, special summon this card. So that's just the main important effect. Like he's an extender, but he does have a pretty good effect where he says quick effect, you can target 1 effect monster your opponent controls, change it to face down defense position. So he is really good in that regard. And then he has a third effect where he says if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 of your rescue ace position monsters and then reborn it. That's banished, so it is really good. Can't be level 8. But from here we can go ahead and we can banish the alert to summon out the preventer. Then we can link the preventer and the turbulence away into our IP. The reason why we don't get rid of hydrant is all of our cards get buffed when we have a hydrant, so we go into an IP Masquerena. Now this will go ahead and trigger a couple things. So you can trigger the preventer here to try and link climb higher. Personally, I don't like doing it because I want to be able to reborn the Airlifter during my opponent's turn to get an additional search, which you guys will see. So but basically we pass a turn like this, right? So now we have IP Masquerena on our board, so the first thing we can do is go ahead and activate rescue. Now rescue says this: target 1 rescue ace monster in your graveyard, or if you control rescue ace hydrant, target 1 monster in an opponent's graveyard instead, special summon it to your field. So we're just going to use the first effect. We are going to go ahead and reborn out our preventer. So now preventer basically says this: quick effect, you can target 1 effect monster your opponent controls, blah blah, and book it. So now we have book moon face down, right? Just off of a reborn, so it's pretty good. And then hydrant has the own built-in protection if you have a rescue ace monster. So we have preventer, and then on top of that we have an IP Masquerena as well. And IP will basically let us climb into this card, which is literally crazy. It's going to be SP Little Knight. Now this deck can abuse it really well. So again, SP Little Knight, then we have like SP Little Knight Chainlink 1 to banish a card, then we have Preventer Chainlink 2, which is going to go ahead and reborn a card, and then we still have SP Little Knight to banish herself and another card our opponent controls, things of that nature. But again, this will go ahead and reborn out our Airlifter, and then Airlifter here can trigger to get emergency. So you guys can see that then the infinite resource starts happening because SP banished Airlifter, and the Airlifter keeps coming back. And then we still have the trap cards as well. So if you don't know what the trap cards do, you have Extinguish, who says this: if you control a rescue ace monster, target 1 effect monster your opponent controls, destroy it. Then if you control hydrant, your opponent cannot activate the effects of that destroyed monster. So again, it's like a target negate, kind of like a Ghost Ogre, kind of like I don't even know what this card is, but like a Rugeki break, right? So you can target and pop it. Then if you have the hydrant, they won't float. And then we have contain, where it says if you control rescue ace monster, target 1 effect monster your opponent controls, this turn that effect monster cannot attack. Also it's effect negated, so Fiendish Chain. And then if you control a hydrant, it basically no material, so it can't be used for fusion, synchro, XYZ, or link summon. So that's a really powerful turn 1 board. Now I'm just gonna get into the second combo. Alright guys, so now we're getting into the second combo. Now again, it's another variant of the Airlifter combo. It just kind of depends the kind of lines you want to take. But again, this one I'll go through a little quicker because we're familiar now. So we'll go ahead and use Airlifter. Airlifter will go ahead and get our emergency. Airlifter's honestly always getting emergency, like who am I kidding? But from here we use emergency. Emergency will go ahead and summon out our hydrant and then tribute off the Airlifter. And then from here what we can do is we can use hydrant to go ahead and add us our turbulence, and then from here we can banish it to summon out our turbulence. I'll just fast forward this from here, and then turbulence will use the effect to set the force. So again, alert, rescue, contain, extinguish. And then from here, because we have our hydrant, we can go ahead and fire off our alert, because again, like I said, for hydrant says once per turn you can activate one that was set that turn. So again, it's a bypass thing. It's a very tricky effect. So alert will go ahead and add us our preventer, which will almost always be the case. Banish alert, summon out preventer, then link the two monsters, except this time we are not going to be going to IP. We are going into our Sunlight Wolf, and this is another pretty good kind of play, especially Sunlight Wolf's like insane in this deck. From here we can go ahead and use preventer to summon out our Airlifter, and then I use Sunlight Wolf. I messed up. You don't want to put Sunlight Wolf here right now. You want to be able to actually summon Airlifter to a zone it doesn't point to, because you can trigger Sunlight Wolf like this. So say we reborn it, then from here we can go ahead and link our monster away into our link reborn, and then we'll trigger our Sunlight Wolf here. And Sunlight Wolf says this: if a monster is normal summoned or special summoned to a zone this card points to, add one fire monster from your grave to your hand, but for the rest of the turn you can't use that effect, blah blah whatever. The main reason why we do it is it gives us recursion, so now we can get preventer in our hand. So now it's pretty good in that regard, but we're not done yet. So from here what we can do is we can go ahead and link these monsters away into our Decode Talker Heat Soul, two Cyberus monsters with different attributes. So we got to link a Dark Eye and a Fire. And again, Link Reaper is very important in this deck. You guys will see. So we go into the Heat Soul, and then again, I like to go into the end phase to use Heat Soul draw. You can use it whenever you want. Being able to bait hand traps or whatever, like if my opponent nibs us, we can do it. So but yeah, from here we go ahead and use Heat Soul. Again, it doesn't matter what we draw. Drawing Prosperity is like cool and all. But then basically during our opponent's turn, we still have all the effects. So we have Rescue. Rescue will be able to reborn our Hydrant onto the board. And then, of course, our cards get really buffed in that regard. And then our Hydrant is protected as well. We get an additional draw also. We get a pop. We get a Phoenix Chain. So you actually can see that although the combos aren't the craziest kind of like unbreakable boards, it's still a very sticky and problematic board. And that's kind of what Yu-Gi-Oh! Is getting into. But anyways, guys, let's get into the third combo. Alright guys, so now we are getting into the third combo. Now I'm sure you guys can see it's got the Sinful spoils cards in it. I know, but if you guys are enjoying the video, go ahead and drop a like, and of course subscribe if you have not already, because we're really close to 7,000 subscribers. But starting off, guys, this is just going to be Hunter Fiend plus any discard. So again, you can activate during the draw phase, time phase, whatever, it doesn't really matter. Activate Hunter Fiend, go ahead and trigger to get our Diabellstar. Now if you guys aren't familiar, Hunter Fiend can add Diabellstar. Diabellstar's effect can discard any card from the field or send, or sorry, discard any card from hand or send from the field to summon herself. Then when she's normal special, you can get a Sinful Spoil Spell trap card directly from your deck and set it. So we will go ahead and set the Snake Eye. Now Snake Eye's effect is send one card similar to the Bellstar and then summon from deck. So from here we can go ahead and use this card. This will go ahead and send the Bellstar. Now this is the main reason why a lot of people are saying that this deck is crazy, because this is like a 1.5 card combo, and you guys can see what I'm going to do. So Snake Eye will go ahead and summon out our Hydrant, and then because Hydrant's literally the main engine of the deck, right? Choo Hydrant. So we go ahead and use Hydrant. Hydrant will go ahead and trigger to add us our Airlifter. Now again, any way to get to Airlifter, any way to get to Hydrant is the best way to play this deck. So again, we will use Airlifter. Airlifter will go ahead and trigger off here to go ahead and add us our Emergency. And then from here we can fire off our Emergency to go ahead and summon out our Turbulence. And then from here what we can do is we can go ahead and tribute off our Airlifter, because of course why would we get rid of our Hydrant when that's the best card in our deck? From here we can go ahead and use Turbulence, or I guess Turbulence is the best card in our deck in my opinion, or it might just be Emergency. But again, you get the same four always. And it's really good because you can always loop these cards. So we go ahead and set our cards, fire off the alert to go ahead and get preventer. So you guys can see like the first two combos really set the stage for these combos. And you know what I mean? So there's a lot to do, but anyways, we'll go ahead and do this, and then from here we can go ahead and use Preventer, banish out the Airlifter. What I like to do is I like to always banish the monster, because then Preventer can actually trigger. Otherwise, you just kind of have like a dead card on the board. So we go ahead and summon out the Preventer, and then go Turbulence and Preventer away, and this will go into our Proxy F Magician. Now you're probably like, what? Proxy F Magician? Like, why is he making this card? You guys will see that this deck plays a lot of weird little extra deck monsters, but it lets us climb into powerful cards. But before we use anything about this, we're going to go ahead and use Preventer. So like I said before, Preventer has the effect where if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one of your banished rescue ace monsters except a level 8 monster and special summon it. You guys notice we banished the Airlifter for the Preventer, so this will be able to reborn out our Airlifter. Now another unique thing is what we're going to do here is we are going to fire off Proxy F Magician. We're basically playing like better Salamander at this point, honestly. Proxy F has the effect where during your main phase you can fusion summon one fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your field as fusion material. If a fusion monster is fusion summoned to a zone discard points, you special summon one monster with 1000 deck, blah blah whatever. We're using the first effect, which enables a fusion summon, and you guys are probably gonna be like, again, why is this guy doing fusion summons? Like, is he crazy? Yes, we are crazy. So we will use Proxy. Proxy will go ahead and fuse himself and Hydrant away, and this will go ahead and summon a Mud Dragon. So Mud Dragon says 2 monsters with the same attribute with different types. So again, 2 fires, but a Cyburst and a machine. It's pretty random, but this is going to be, like I said before, a lot of people were asking me like, oh, what do you mean they set up an FTK board against Unchained and Tier? This is what I'm going to do. You guys can see 2 4s. Add the math up. We go into our Dweller. We can go into Baguska as well, but Dweller's infinitely better. So then we end up having a Dweller, and here we can still use the Hunter Fiend effect to banish, to go ahead and put back and then draw one. Again, the draws don't really matter. Drawing a Fenrir is nice, of course, but the draws don't really matter. Now you're probably like, oh man, he just got rid of all his cards, like he can't do anything. You guys understand that this was a 1.5 card combo. I'm going to have multiple other cards in my hand as well. And then basically during our opponent's phase, we can go ahead and use Dweller. I like to detach Airlifter because Airlifter actually has an effect in the graveyard. And from here we can go ahead and use Rescue. Rescue can go ahead and Reborn, so you can get the Hydrant. And then you can keep playing from that. You feel me? So we can go ahead and use Extinguish. Extinguish can go ahead and pop a card. We can go ahead and use Contain. Contain can go ahead and contain the board. So, and I mean, we already shut off their Abyss Dweller, so we still have all sorts of plays. And like I said before, depending on what our hand is, we can also have other disruptions as well. Multiple hand traps, other engine pieces and key cards and things of that nature. But anyways, let's get into the 4th and final combo. So guys, now we are getting into the 4th and final combo. Now, the reason why I'm not going into like the 5 combos like I normally do is because I feel like Rescue Ace, although it has nice combos, it's not a combo deck, right? It's supposed to be a deck that can kind of trade, go mid-range, very similar to Soundline Gate, but a lot better, like I said before. So again, this is the 4th and final combo. This combo, I think it's a lot more fun than anything, and if you want to go for it, you can go for it. It just definitely loses to a lot, but we have Hunter Fiend, we have Airlifter, then we have any discard. You guys will see exactly what I mean. So this time we aren't going to start off with the Hunter Fiend, although you can. We can go ahead and use Airlifter. The reason for this is like if we get drolled on the Airlifter, we can chain Hunter Fiend, so it doesn't really matter in that regard. But we go ahead and use Airlifter. Airlifter will grab Emergency. Then from here, I'm sure you guys know we're going to activate Emergency. Emergency summon out the Hydrant, and then Emergency tribute off the Airlifter. So like I said before, it's very important why I showcase the first steps of the combos in like my combo 1 or 2 before we go. But anyways, then from here we can go ahead and activate that. This will go ahead and summon out to get our Turbulence. Then from here, what we can do is we can go ahead and use Hunter Fiend. Hunter Fiend will go ahead and activate to grab us our Diabellstar, the Dark Witch. You can just summon Turbulence here as well. It's just like I'm kind of like checking and seeing like whatever you guys want to do. Oh no, I actually don't summon Turbulence here. I just remember why. You want to protect your Turbulence. You guys see what I mean. So we used Dark Witch. Dark Witch, go ahead and discard our Pot of Prosperity. Then we use Diabellstar to go ahead and set our Hunter Fiend, or sorry, Snake Eye. I keep getting these cards mixed up. I guess once we get them, it'll be easier. But from here, we will go ahead and use Dark Witch to get Snake Eye. Then we'll link our monster away into Link Creeble. Like I said before, this is very important. You guys will see why, but it's really important to get Link Creeble in the graveyard. Not only does he have recursion, being able to like dodge cards after, but it's important here. So we'll use Snake Eye, we'll send off the Link Creeble, and we'll summon out our Jet Synchro. Now the reason for that is because from here, what we can do is we can go ahead and use the 1 and the 7, and this will go ahead and synchro off into our Borreload Savage Dragon. Like I said before, it's important because Savage Dragon will go ahead and equip the Link Creeble. So it's pretty good because then we have a negate, and then we have a guaranteed resolution of our Turbulence, because in the previous combos, Turbulence is a big choke point in the deck, of course. From here, we can go ahead and summon out our Turbulence, and then from here, Turbulence will go ahead and banish the 2 to summon out himself, and then he will use his effect to go ahead and set the 4. So again, Rescue, Extinguish, Contain, and Alert. Set all 4 of them. The thing is, we can't use any of these cards right now because we don't have the Hydrant on board, but it's still fine because like Alert being able to add a monster from our graveyard, or we can go ahead and use our Rescue first and then get the Alert to get an Impulse to summon out Preventer, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of cool plays that you can do with this deck. But from here we go ahead and we will activate the Hunter Fiend. Now you guys will wonder why. The draw here doesn't really matter as long as you have a card to send, and the reason for that is because we can go ahead and draw a card. It's perfect that we drew a useless card, which is Ash Blossom, because we can use the Jet Synchron in our graveyard to discard the Ash Blossom to reborn out the Jet Synchron. Then from here we can go 1 and a 9 away into our Baron de Fleur. So it's pretty nasty here. So now we have 2 Omni Negates, which is pretty good. I mean, and then even if we have to use this Baron Negate during our turn, we can tag out into like a Hydrant, and then we can still play like that. We still have a Rescue, which says target 1 Rescue monster in your graveyard, and special summon it, so we can special summon out the Hydrant. Then from here we can go ahead and use the Alert. Alert can grab us like Impulse, stuff like that. during our opponent's turn, I like to grab an impulse. And then from here we have the extinguish, and then we still have the contain as well. So you guys can see that although this deck is a mid-range deck, it does have a lot of powerful combos, very similar to Salamangreat and Unchained. But I think that this deck is a problematic deck, and it's a deck to be reckoned with going into Age of Overlord. Now, if you guys like the video, please go and leave a like on the video, and of course, subscribe for more videos, guys. And my name's Hamza, and like I always say, keep on shining, never go on your dreams. Peace.